Matt Piscatella is checking back in with more video game industry data, and this one's going to be pretty heavy on the numbers, but it's something that I enjoy, and I know that if you guys are watching this video, you too also like to parse some of the data that's out there. So when you have an expert in the field and he's providing the data, we got to take a look at it, right? So here we have, okay, for the halfway point in 2024, we have what are the best performing premium games, okay? So the AAA space games, the full price games that are out there for the masses this year, and to no surprise, Helldivers 2 still has the crown, okay? Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty is still going to be popular, but it's also going to play into the second half of this video, so keep that in mind. Dragon's Dogma 2 being number 3, that's interesting because outside of its initial release window, didn't really hear much about that, but hey, good for them, okay? MLB The Show 24, well, that kind of makes sense. And then, yay, Rebirth at 5, so for the way that Square Enix wants to try to spin it as a soft sales cycle, we know that Tekken shipped in its first couple of months of release 2 million units. Dragon's Dogma 2.5. I don't know how many additional sales Tekken has tacked on, but if it's right behind Rebirth, that would mean, well, I don't know, simple logic says that 5 is larger than 6, meaning that we've got to be creeping up to that 3 million mark somewhere, if all things are equal for Rebirth. And just imagine, I'm waiting for that PC port announcement, man. Give it to me. Give it to me. But at number 8, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. That's kind of crazy. And that's not obviously factoring in the deep discount to the Steam summer sale. But we also know that 15,000 concurrent concurrent players at its high point. That thing ain't selling shit, brother. But Hogwarts Legacy, I guess you can kind of offset that with the 2023 best-selling game and one of the biggest bombs, hell, quite possibly the biggest financial bomb in gaming history with a $200 million loss, juxtaposed with, yeah, how many millions of units moved on Hogwarts Legacy. But hey man, whatever. But let's focus on some of the hardware data, okay? That's what I'm a little bit more interested in, okay? What about consoles moved? May video game hardware spending declined 40% when compared to a year ago to $202 million. It's interesting, okay, and it's now 30% lower year to date. Through May, all current generation hardware platforms are showing double-digit percentage declines year on year in 2024, with Switch showing the most significant drop. Yeah, because they know that they're heading into the twilight of that console, and everybody's kind of waiting for a Switch 2, Ultra Switch, Super Switch announcement. But it's kind of funny, right? Looking at these numbers, just these gigantic drops year over year, I don't think Nintendo's necessarily all that excited to announce new hardware because they're still shipping software hand over fist. It's something that the other companies can't quite tout as a success. PlayStation 5 again led the month's hardware market in a unit and dollar sales. Nintendo Switch once again finished second in unit sales, while Xbox Series ranked second in dollars. So third in units, second in dollars. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Series X, I'm not too sure about the S, but I'm pretty sure that the X is more expensive than a Switch off the shelf. But the fact that they're still outselling in raw numbers the series kind of lets you know that things aren't working out all that well for Nintendo. But there's been a lot of news stories come out in 2024 that have already made that crystal clear. But here's the zinger. Through each console's first 43 months on the market, PlayStation 5 unit sales lead those of PlayStation 4 by 8%. It's not a lot of growth, but it is growth nonetheless. And as PlayStation 4, by the end of its life cycle, was one of the best-selling consoles of all time, that bodes well for Sony. I just don't know what people are playing on PlayStation. For as much as I love Rebirth, if that game had come out multi-platform, never would have picked up a PS5. Would have missed out on the DualSense controller. I do like it quite a bit, but whatever. Then that goes over to the Series X and S, which I have no interest in buying at all whatsoever. Okay, there's no reason to buy it. It's an underpowered console, and it was at the time of release in 2020, and there's no exclusives because everything comes over to the PC, so what's the goddamn point? Which kind of points out these numbers and why it makes this so shocking. The Series trails Xbox One by 13%, which was a historic blunder, one that Microsoft has yet to recover from, and remains slightly behind the 360. The 360, which got off to a monumental start and then ended up tapering off, and then by the end of that life cycle, the PS3 eclipsed sales of the 360. So while everybody points to this seventh generation as that of the Xbox 360, all appreciable facts. Actually, Sony winning back-to-back, and then with the PS4 ending up winning there, and it looks like they're going to end up winning the PS5's 9th generation, so what are we doing here? Okay, May spending on accessories dropped 8% when compared to a year ago, 148 million. Headsets and headphone spending growth at 10%, okay, when compared to last year ago, was offset by a 12% dip in gamepad spending. So that's interesting, man. So what that kind of tells me is that there's a lot of stagnation. A lot of stagnation in the console space. People buying headsets, headphones, okay, to more closely integrate in the online space. That kind of makes sense. But when it comes to gamepads, yeah, when it comes to controllers, the in-person aspect of these machines has vastly dwindled, which is why with all of that data that's right there, imagine for a moment, okay, your PlayStation, you're over there, you're seeing that you're dominating the generation, hence why you're still putting out exclusives. You might have a PC port or something like that, or at least a timed exclusive where you have things on your console. Not saying this is a good practice, just simply assessing it for what it is. I want as many games on as many platforms as possible. I'm not here to stump for any console. We're just looking at the data. Now that we have that clear, the way the PlayStation that Sony can look at it is like, okay, cool. You might say that we have a soft 2024 lineup, okay? When it comes to a AAA space, very much so. But we're still winning the day when it comes to our direct competition. So when we say go, or rather goes, things are only going to pick up from here because, yeah, we've got the PS5 Pro on the horizon. Something that people, I guess, are kind of looking forward to because it's looking like it's going to end up being the de facto console for people that still want to play on console. Because if you recall, okay, during the Xbox showcase during Summer Game Fest, Xbox let slip that they've got a brand new Pro version console coming out, but nobody cares. Like, it's not being talked about at all whatsoever, but it's kind of letting you know where Xbox's head's at this point in time, okay? They're just simply focusing on being a publisher. Okay, the series generation might end up being the last for Microsoft, okay, because you see all of those layoffs, the thousands of people that have been laid off in the Xbox division, the consolidation with all of the new development studio purchases, Bethesda's, Activision, Blizzard, all of the smaller companies that are in there as well, all of the redundancies that have been identified and dealt with. They're at a point in time where, yeah, they've spent all their money. Now they're looking at ways to recoup their losses, and so any smart company, what are they deciding to do? Instead of focusing on quality, no. Let's focus on quantity. Let's try to tax ourselves out of this situation that we put ourselves in. And in the words of Winston Churchill, government trying to tax its way out of debt is like a man trying to pull up a bucket while he's standing inside of it. Extrapolate government to company, and you have Microsoft dealing with Xbox right now because Microsoft is hiking the price of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and launching a new standard tier. Now, we talked about this not that long ago. I think it's about a week removed, okay, when we were talking about the new game crash that is on the horizon, specifically pointing at the way that the games industry is it's heading towards a more subscription-based utopia. At least that's what these production companies think. But then also looking that in recent years, growth has been rather stagnant year over year for quite some time. So do you think that this is going to end up boding well for Microsoft? Time will tell, guys, okay? Microsoft is planning to hike its Xbox Game Pass Ultimate pricing again in September, alongside launching a new standard subscription that doesn't include day one access to first-party Xbox games. Oh, okay. So the entire appeal of having Xbox Game Pass was to have all of these big budget AAA first party games. Okay, they were going to be coming to Xbox, they were going to be coming to PC. You had Game Pass, you were going to have day one access to it. But now you're tearing that stuff off. Now you're walling it off. Now, once you played all your back catalog, what's the incentive to keep your subscription going? Xbox Maker has started emailing Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, warning of the price increase to $20 a month on September 12th, $3 increase over the current $16.99 a month pricing. I don't know what that works out to in Canada, but it's probably $25 or something like that. Ridiculous. PC Game Pass subscribers will also see a hike in September, and with the service moving from $10 to $12 per month and maintaining access to the day one titles. If you're outside the US and wondering, yeah, okay, so there's worldwide. I don't really care because I'm not buying any of this stuff. The price increase comes just before Microsoft plans to add the first iteration of Call of Duty after the $69 billion acquisition of Activision. Interesting timing, huh? After we also heard rumors that Microsoft was bantying around the idea of maybe not putting Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on Game Pass day one, which it would have sunk the model of Game Pass, which this is kind of a middle-of-the-road option. Because if you don't put one of your most successful, one of your most highly anticipated games on Game Pass as a day one release, you end up creating a two-tiered business structure, okay? You say that, yeah, there are some games that will have day one. Yeah, that's totally fine. But this one's special. This is the one that you're gonna have to buy. How would you spin that? So no, they just understood that, yeah, we're going to have it on Game Pass day one as long as you sign up for the most expensive tier. Something that if you stay on for, 3 months, you're going to end up basically outright owning. But yeah, you can still have access to it when we drop the first, second battle pass 3 months down the road. This is the biggest problem when it comes to AAA gaming, okay? For as bad as these consultancy firms are pushing of the message, it's these, it's these nefarious monetization policies that we should really be focusing on. Price increase will largely affect Ultimate subscribers, who make up the vast majority of Game Pass subscribers and come just over a year after the last Game Pass price hike, which raised rates $1 or $2 per month. Alongside the Ultimate and PC Game Pass price hikes, Microsoft will also offer a new option to Xbox Game Pass standard subscription without day one titles, which will be priced at $15 a month. So $5 less. See, this is exactly what they're doing. They're giving you a little bit of a discount, but they're also taking away the biggest aspect of having Game Pass to begin with. Because, gamers love to have their back catalog, and obviously having the extensive back catalog that Game Pass can afford you, you're also looking forward to the new releases. But if you're not getting those day one releases for a reduced price, a lot of people are just going to simply bite the bullet. Not all of them, but a vast majority, enough that I'm sure Microsoft has run the numbers where they could go ahead and trick people by just going, it's just another $5 a month. That's fine. Instead of shilling out $60, $70 for a new release, I'll just pay $20 a month. Not really running the numbers thinking that it's not going to be that great for you, but the existing Xbox Game Pass for console subscription will continue for existing subscribers, but new Game Pass subscribers won't be able to select the console option starting July 10th until the new Game Pass standard subscription is available. Microsoft says Xbox Game Pass standard will be available in the coming months. The new standard option also includes online console multiplayer access, which is something that Xbox Game Pass for console lacked previously. Existing Xbox Game Pass for console subscribers will only be able to stack up to 13 months from September 18th. Yes, and this won't impact existing stacks. It's interesting because back when I used to have Xbox Live, you could just buy years and years on end. I don't even know if there was a cap, but when it was $60 a year, when you could just go down to Walmart and buy as many subscriptions for months or years on end. There was the 3 month, the 1 month, the 3 month, the 6 month, and I think the 12 month. Definitely the 12 and definitely the 1 month, but those other quarter and half year options might not have been there. But those were the options when, the Xbox 360 was king, obviously. And the original Xbox was breaking into the market where every new release of a game offered you a free 1 month Xbox Live trial, and you could go ahead and you could definitely stack those. I definitely knew some friends that were taking advantage of that. I didn't have an OG Xbox at the time. There were a lot of people playing Halo 2 on those promo cards. I can guarantee you that. Now the way that they're trying to nickel and dime you, man, this is really looking an awful lot like another type of streaming war that we seen not that long ago in regards to Hollywood. And now that there's basically one streamer remaining in Netflix, Microsoft is trying to follow along those lines, but not realizing that the Hollywood, that the entertainment, that the boomer entertainment audience is vastly different than the savvy gamer types. I could see this ultimately backfiring on them, but hey, it's not like in 2024, Microsoft isn't accustomed to having massive L's taken on the regular. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.